turn of the century Victoria, where industry has become the cornerstone of the modern way of life, fueling a new age of prosperity. Booming shipyards and British Columbia's first coal gasification plant at Rock Bay powered the city with electricity. With the gift of heat and light came the burden of 90 years' worth of damaging hydrocarbons and heavy metals left behind for remediation in Victoria's inner harbor. Today, Rock Bay has been fully remediated. But where did all the contaminated soil go? For the last 2 years of the project, it went to a state-of-the-art facility that removes the contaminants and stores the waste properly. But this treatment isn't always the case. In 2013, 29,000 tons of contaminated soil from Victoria's waterfront went to a small site called South Island Aggregates, just 40 minutes out of town. SIA is not a remediation facility. It is a quarry that applied for the Ministry of Environment's newly crafted contaminated soil relocation permit, and now operates as a landfill at a much lower cost than a remediation facility. The problem is, this site is right inside a watershed, and is directly upstream from Shawnigan Lake. A haven away from busy city life, and one of the premier summer getaway locations on Vancouver Island, Shawnigan Lake is an easy drive from Greater Victoria, and upon arriving, one feels the stress and troubles of city life melt away. People are friendly, live on true island time, and have a vibrant community of year-round residents. In total, 12,000 people use the Shawnigan watershed as their source of drinking water, 7,000 drawing directly from the lake. This makes South Island Aggregates a less than ideal site for storing contaminated soil, and yet it was given a permit to accept 100,000 tons per year for 50 years. So their designs must be rock solid, right? One condition of the permit is to direct all water runoff to keep it from leaving the site untreated. On multiple documented occasions, they have been found to be out of compliance, with streams running directly off the property. Thurber Engineering assessed the property and designs and found the sediment pond basin to be relatively porous, and noted that the water sourced from the SIA site was bypassing the sediment pond and going right off the property, breaking the conditions of the permit. Inherent design flaws leading to non-compliances can be partially explained by the 50-50 profit-sharing contract between SIA and Active Earth Engineering. Even after this dangerous conflict of interest was brought to light, and all the non-compliances to date, dumping has been permitted to continue. Understandably, the people of Shawnigan have been devastated by all this, fighting the Ministry of Environment for 4 years to get the permit revoked.
Can't help but be here. They're poisoning our water.
It is irresponsible for the government to actually stand up and ensure and demand that compliance be met now, not as we go, because there are cumulative issues involved.
Keep in mind, South Island Aggregate sits on top of an aquifer. And although they say the rock beneath is impenetrable, the reality is quite different. The region is classified as medium vulnerability, and it sits upstream from a high vulnerability zone that crosses over into Victoria's protected watershed. But we don't know how connected these aquifers are, because they haven't yet been mapped. But it doesn't stop there. This case is the precedent for whether or not quarries across BC can be rezoned as contaminated soil landfills. Many quarries have already applied for contaminated soil relocation permits, but all applications are on hold until Shawnigan's case is resolved. Turn your attention to court hearings resuming on August 17th as Shawnigan continues fighting to protect water.